Good morning and welcome to the Weekender.
Hello, everyone.
I'm of course joined by Lloyd and go the
Come on!
It's been another big week in gaming. It's been another big week for us. This week we have been unpacking. So all those armies that we had forgot we had, all that equipment that we'd forgot we had, and a whole lot of stuff that we used to have and is now either broken or soaked because we had a bit of a flood as well with the bad weather.
Anybody find my Tau army that I abandoned?
Yes. Well, parts of it.
Yeah, we found parts of it. The best news is we have found the entire Nachtwolf army, including the bit that I had lost before the tournament when I had to actually rebuild all the tanks.
You mean the one we spent about 3 weeks looking for?
Yes.
That vanished completely?
That vanished completely.
Well, where was it?
Justin had packed it away somewhere silly. So it's not
my fault. Thank you. Thank you.
Anyway, one of the things that it did bring up is repairs. Oh boy, do we have some repairs to do. There is quite a number of broken models. So I want to know, and post in the comments below if you have any kind of, words of insight for us on this. Can a model be repaired too many times to the point where it just is unrepairable?
Yes.
No. Because it's to play with.
Hey?
Okay.
You play with it.
If you're talking about a gaming piece, fine. Keep going, and it still represents the model.
Oh, so you mean just chuck as much onto it as you need to make it stick?
Stick it back on.
So it's like a big ball of green stuff with arms sticking out.
That's my tech marine.
No, but if it's a display piece, I'd say, yeah, you can repair it too many times.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess.
Because eventually you're breaking it apart, you're chipping the paint, you're trying to repair the paint, and it just gets aggravating.
I've seen your display pieces. You probably could just stick it together forever.
I have improved of late.
Well,
You have. I remember the first time I ever seen anything you painted.
No. You had given me a bit of stick about it and had to eat crow.
It was a golden tank.
It was the Golden Marines.
He'd created this marine army, the Golden Marines.
Yes.
And he must have painted with
a 3-inch brush.
With a 3-inch brush and your teeth. and with a roller on there as well.
And it was like Dulux Supercoat or something.
Yeah.
It was honestly the paint.
It was GW paint.
Yeah, but Justin,
this was the first time I'd ever painted. No one had ever shown me anything.
Yeah.
There was no Beast of War at this point to teach me.
To be completely fair with you,
there was a piece of war, otherwise I wouldn't know you.
Yeah,
not at that point.
Yeah, but to be completely fair,
when you mean when you painted it?
Yes.
Right.
To be completely fair for the description, and you can attest to this.
Yeah.
You had the paint was nearly 3 mil thick.
Yes, that was my guardsmen that I gave to you. You had them in Dettol for 6 months.
Yes, it took 6 months to peel it off.
And there were still flakes.
And even then, there were still flakes of it. And when it did peel off, it was like it went from a gold, and then underneath the gold was a green, and then underneath the green was a blue, and then underneath the blue was a white. I've never seen any paint go on so thick. Needless to say, you're not as bad as that now. But here's the thing for repairs. Previously, the vast majority of repairs we do is we use a little bit of green stuff and super glue. One of the super glues, probably one of the gel type super glues. But I wonder, does there come a point where the bonds, if you have super glue and green stuff on top of old super glue and green stuff, that the bond just won't work anymore? Do you need to go in and scrape it all out?
Anytime I'm doing a repair, I always take the flakes of super glue off just to give it that clean join again.
Yeah.
Because gluing super glue to super glue, you're just worried that the other side of the super glue is about to go. It's already on the miniature.
I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's one that we'll feed back to you on, because other than that, I think pinning is probably our best shot. It always seems to be the metal models that break the most. Well, they don't break. They just kind of fall apart.
But super glue does degrade over time.
They don't break. They just fall apart.
Yeah, you mean Warren, you go, look at this beautiful thing. Dunk.
I'm going to work on something else.
What was that?
What was that noise? This model just fell apart again.
Anybody that knows me knows I drop models. I freely admit to that.
Yes.
I freely admit to that. The other thing that I want a tip on is I have a bunch of tanks that have turned up. I mean, a big lot of Lehman Russ tanks for an Imperial Guard army that I'm hoping someday to come back to. However, the aerials are broken off the vast majority of them. That's not such a big deal because the aerials on the Leman Russ and the Land Raiders and stuff never really looked that good anyway. Has anybody come up with a way of using bendy steel wire to create aerials and things like that on their tanks?
There's one thing I saw a couple of people that do. They'd used a bit of brass rod and just bored it in and stuck it in as well. Put a little bubble on the top.
It's very thick though. You know, a brass rod is like having an aerial as thick as your arm.
Yeah, you are on a heroic scale, so you can sort of get away with it, maybe.
I don't know.
One for the comments.
It's damage is a big part of owning armies like we do. When we face these things day in, daily. You know, go to a tournament, the Flames of War tournament I was at. I dropped my entire army on the floor, and it went everywhere, every piece. So I had to sit and glue it all back together. I was chuckling about it this evening or this afternoon whenever we found it. But the other big problem we have is storage. And that's something that we've been trying to work on. So we're going to bring up maybe a picture here and show you the kind of the storage. We're doing a floor to ceiling type storage thing that is actually, it's a combination of storage and set.
It's monolithic
all
storage.
in one go.
And shelving.
Well, we must have, maybe 150 drawers.
I don't think it's enough. I think we need a bigger studio.
We probably do need a bigger studio, but yeah, we've opted to go for kind of like a combination of drawers and shelving.
I'll get back to you, Matt. I'm just counting them.
He's just counting them. Well, I know we put another 100 in today, so it's we'll have to see. But I think we do have in the realms of about 150 drawers, and then the individual shelves. But it's when you put it in the drawers, then you have that problem of keeping your miniatures from hitting each other and chipping the paint and stuff. And it seems to me that the only thing that you can do is turn to one of the foam suppliers, like Battle Foam KR, one of these guys. But that's an awful lot of foam that you need to try. And the problem I have with foam is I just don't find foam a particularly flexible material. It's great when you have your army. Okay, if you have your army in your army bag, you buy foam to fit that army. But when you're in the hobby for a while, you start to gather up stuff. You start to gather lots of different little armies and things like that.
Yeah, and this one will have a wee bit sticking out there, that one will have a bit sticking out here, and it doesn't quite fit the way you want
you don't get that. You don't get that flexibility. Surely we're at the stage where scientists could come up with some whizzy, foamy thing that you just set your model on and it just goes. Something like my stomach, you know, you set it on and it just falls in like molten chocolate.
Some kind of memory foam mattress for your minis.
Yes.
Mini memory foam mattresses
For your minis.
Yes.
You heard them here first, folks. Yeah. So storage. Once we get through it,
Sounds a lot better than what I was contemplating. I was contemplating going to the toilet a lot
eh?
What?
and saving all the loo roll.
All the
And then
little
you stack
toilet
them
roll
up in
tubes.
little tubes.
Yeah. Tubes.
So that's why there's so much of that lying about.
The problem is
I collect them all, right?
Yeah.
And then Anna comes along and goes, "What's this collection of crap you've got here?" Bin.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
Yeah, but every miniatures collector has that essence of being a hoarder as well.
Oh.
I only hoard toilet roll.
No, you hoard it because you think you can use it.
Toilet roll tubes.
You think you can use it for terrain and you never get round to it.
And I hoard jars.
Jars as well.
Jars
yeah.
get chucked out. And then I go, look how useful this jar is when John came over to do the painting. Look at all this dirty water. How useful is this
Look
jar?
how useful the jar is. Actually, jars are one of the most useful things in storage for bits. And what you do is you get yourself a shelf, okay? And you don't put the jars on the shelf. What you do is you nail the lids or screw the lids of the
I've seen
jars
this done.
to the bottom of the shelf.
Yeah,
and then you put your
screws
bits
up
in and then you screw it up in. And that way you get the space on the shelf at the top and
beneath.
you have all the jars in beneath.
Right.
Genius.
See when I start collecting jars
Genius.
again. Don't bin them.
So,
What was this?
Yes, you'll watch the show.
yes. So, we're back. Thanks very much for your comments on the last show. We were getting some feedback.
Some of the comments were a little harsh, I thought. Too much crotch on display.
Whoa, really?
Too much crotch.
Yeah. Too much midriff
Did we intimidate them with our man crotches?
with the Irish beef.
Yes. Okay, I'm starting to get a bit worried here. All right, I have a confession to make. So,
What? No, do not want.
What's going on?
Do not want.
okay, so
Oh!
that'll hopefully be a little less intimidating this time round. So
Is this?
No, hang on. You're worried about disease, and you just picked this thing up. You
Yeah.
know where it's been.
well, anyway, we'll put that that away.
5 second rule.
We promise not to intimidate you with our mad beasts of war crotches from now on, and we're experimenting with some more lights and things like that.
Post the movie reference below.
I feel a bit lighter, and that's a good thing because today marks my first day. Beasts of War Fit Club. I'm joining you today, guys. So before Christmas, we talked about I wanted to get fit. I want to lose about 5 stone. Okay. I think if you watch the videos back, I originally thought it was 3 stone. I've now weighed myself.
What was the grand total?
Yeah, it's 5 stone. So today is my official weigh-in.
What was it? 2 Justins.
Was it 2 of me?
It was.
Was it actually?
It was very nearly 2 of you.
Right.
Okay. Today I weighed in. I weighed in at 119.8 kilos.
What?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so you rounded up to 120 when you told me.
Yeah, it was.
That means my calculations are slightly out.
Yes, but it also means I'm slightly lighter already.
I'm 69.
All right, well,
So what's that stone?
This is a family show. This is a family
no,
show.
my weight. Kilograms.
all right, okay,
Kilograms.
Okay.
And hang on, are you talking about this being a family show after some of the stuff you've said on the show?
Well,
what the
anyway.
hell?
So I'm clocking. Pardon you. I'm clocking in today to Beasts of War Fit Club. Gentlemen, I'm joining you. I'm 119.8 kilos. My name is Warren, and I have a problem. I like to eat
That's 18,
everything.
That's 18.8 stone for me and you.
Yeah, it is almost 2 of me.
About 18 and a half stone.
That's about the same amount of stones that we removed when we were building the studio.
So we removed a Warren.
The question is, what am I going to do?
Walk.
Walking's one. Here's the problem that I face, right? During the day, we're busying around and getting stuff done for Beasts of War. So we're always looking at content. At the moment, myself and Lloyd are working on improvements to the website and things like that. So there's an awful lot going on. Most of it is spent sitting on our asses, okay?
And snacking on the run.
Snacking on the run, you know, it's and then when I do get some free time, I want to spend it with Savannah, or I want to spend it actually playing a game or doing something like that. Everybody says the reason you're not making the time is because you don't want to do it. That might be the case. I'm not sure if that's the case because, but the only way we can see. The only way we can find out is just to try it. I've come out, I've given my weight, I'm going to get stuck in. Where am I going to go with this? I don't know. I'm going back to the Beasts of War Fit Club thread, and I'm going to read some of the comments and advice that's on there. The one that has appealed to me is there's an app that you can get from your phone where you run away from zombies.
I know this one.
Okay. I'm not sure if my iPhone is up to date enough to be able to run it.
What I did, right?
Yeah.
When I realised I'd turned into a little fatty.
Yeah.
I am now probably a little fatty again, but there was a period of time when I wasn't such a little fatty.
Yeah.
No, I think you have been heavier, Lloyd.
I decided to work in to my routine, you know, the mundane stuff that you have to do every day.
Like what?
Like, I'm going to refer back to toilets. Washing your hands after being to the toilet.
Right.
Change it into an exercise. So you're washing your hands and you're doing squats at the same time.
Okay, this just sounds incredibly creepy. Just you going,
It does work though, and it's just like, because you don't really want to exercise. So you think this is crap having to wash your hands.
That's okay.
So
Let's
do some
talk about
squats.
this, okay? Squat while you're washing your hands,
Yes.
okay?
Any other ideas,
what
guys?
other things can we think of? Oh, star jumps while you're making your toasts.
Exactly.
You could be onto something here.
Butt crunches sitting at your desk.
Butt crunches, hey!
I knew there would be something about a little butt wiggle in there somewhere.
To be fair, maybe this is a part
And
of the way to go.
anytime you want to take away, it's easier for me because I live closer to takeaways. I have to walk there and get the takeaway. I'm not allowed to take any sort of transport. I have to walk
Yeah.
in the
Well,
rain, the snow, whatever,
You see, for
get the
you, Warren, that's
takeaway and then walk
if
back.
you want a snack, instead of just going and getting something from the kitchen, walk to the little shop down the road to get the snack.
Walk to get your milk, except your milk's cheaper in the supermarket.
Yeah, the milk is cheaper in the supermarket. Anyway, I'm in BC4 Fit Club. Over the course of the next few weeks, I'll be reporting back on what I'm having to do or what I'm trying to try and improve not only my weight. This is not about just
It's
losing
general
5
health.
stone. This is about being able to run around and not feel out of breath.
Let's revisit the squatting. You could squat while playing war games. Squat.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
think-
you see, if you and your opponent are both doing it, while he's going down, you might roll the dice and get him in the eye.
Yeah, but to be fair, like if you were doing that, the only thing I can think of is you just keep saying, "Oh, I need to check line of sight again." You know, so constant checks of line of sight.
Maybe,
Anyway.
maybe that's the idea with True Line of Sight now. Get Wargamers healthy.
Next up, I want to talk about bolt action and Dad's Army. We'll be right back after this short break. So this weekend sees the launch, the release of the Dad's Army miniatures from Warlord that have rules for bolt action.
Yep. I would say this is epic, but epic's not really the word for Dad's
no,
Army,
It's not
is it?
really the word for Dad's Army, but like I love Dad's Army. As a child, I grew up with it. But my father, my grandfather used to watch it, and we grew up on it. You know, so it was just. I loved the prospect of it. Anyway, I went along to Warlord to see just exactly what they'd be like, and yeah, watch this. Hi guys, so I've stopped in with Warlord for an opportunity to have a look at one of probably the best entertainment boxes you're likely to get for your game of bolt action, and that is Dad's Army in a box. So I'm joined by John Stallard of Warlord. John, these are looking awesome.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely awesome. We've got them all laid out here, and we're just going to run through them and have a chat about each of them and show you what we've got. So most of the miniatures in the box actually have two versions. There's the version of them in their civvies and a version of them in uniform. But I want to start with the Vicar. So we have the Vicar and the Verger, John. What can you tell us about those guys?
Well, smashing models. I particularly like the miserable expression on the Verger's face.
Yep.
Particularly splendid. A great enemy of Captain Mannering, of course. Lovely sculpts, but in bolt action, what do? You actually can use them on the tabletop, because even though they weren't in the platoon, you can use them because they have their network of Boy Scouts and Sea Scouts all around them, and they use them to make sure that the signposts are all turned the right way, because during the invasion scares they took all the signposts down or made them point the wrong way. So if you use these guys, you basically get your reserves coming on easier. Because they know the routes. They know the routes, all the rat runs.
I'll just turn them around so that you can see the details on it. They're just lovely models, and I think they make just an excellent addition to a game of bolt action. Moving on, we have this chap here, who I think anybody who's a fan of Dad's Army will know who this guy is. Here we have Jonesy. So that's Jonesy in his civvies. And here we have him, because they don't like it up him, Mr. Mannering.
Give them the cold steel, boys.
Yeah.
In the civilian one here, he's carrying an assegai, presumably from his time in North Africa. Mm-hmm. In Kitchener's campaign, I think he was in.
Captured from a Fuzzy Wuzzy, wasn't it?
I think it was.
So he is in his full butcher's uniform. Next up, we have Walker. Let's get a look at Walker. With a brush shaft with a knife tied around the end. So these are all, the imagery in all this is taken obviously from the series, but there was also the Dad's Army movie, which covered them joining the unit. So it's all the little fun details that you can remember from the end credits even of the show. They just match so nicely.
I think this one he's having a crafty fag as he's going forward.
There he is, yeah.
A fag meaning something completely different in England if you're watching in America.
Okay, next up, we have Pike, Striped Boar. So, Pike has, what has he got here? Is it a cricket bat?
Cricket bat, yes.
And Pike was a big fan of the Tommy gun.
All the gangster movies is what it was. You go, ah, 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 and frighten the whole platoon with it.
So all these miniatures all have special rules. We'll come back in another video and try and show you some of the special rules and things that they have in the game. So if you're just a collector, you just buy them, paint them up or whatever. But if you're a player of Bolt Action, there's no reason why you couldn't have, like a big church, some invading Germans, and these guys trying to take it on. But how does Pikey play in the game?
Pikey's, because he's so entertaining with the Tommy gun, we just give him a special rule where he basically gets double shots. So he just throws out the whole magazine in one go. So a man to be avoided.
And I'd also heard that I think it's on a roll of a double one, the gun breaks down and it's Striped Boar.
Stupid boy.
Next up, we have Mannering himself.
Ah.
There he is, all in his banking outfit and dressed as a captain. Again, a beautiful model, absolutely beautiful. It has just the right amount of pomposity.
Yes, I think that sums him up well.
Yep.
But, he was always pompous, but not a fool. He wasn't daft, but he was wonderfully pompous.
Wonderfully pompous. Okay, next up we have Godfrey. Now, what weapon is that Godfrey?
It is
yes,
Godfrey.
It is Godfrey. Sorry, what weapon is Godfrey carrying there?
I think he's raided the local museum and he's got himself equipped with a halberd.
Now, Godfrey was a medic. So does he play a kind of a medical role within the game?
Well, he was originally not a medic. Later on in the series, they developed him into the medic role. But yes, definitely, if you have him in your platoon, you've got a very good chance of getting one of your platoon back into action.
Yeah.
At a rather slow pace.
I would say it would be rather slow and dithery.
And he might have to be excused. But his auntie, his sister Dolly does make a very good upside down cake.
A very good upside down cake. Next up, we have, what's his Uncle Arthur?
Yeah, Sergeant Wilson.
Now, Sergeant Wilson in his civvies is carrying an interesting weapon. What's that?
He's also been to the museum. He's equipped himself with a Zulu knobkerrie, a blooming great club for whacking German parachutists over the head. Which I can't imagine Wilson really doing.
No, he's far too polite for that. Would you mind?
Quite awfully. He's rather a vain man, as you can see there, doing his hand.
Yes, yep. It's a lovely, lovely sculpt.
I think it's one of the best. That's Paul Hicks doing this. Paul Hicks, one of the best sculptors out there.
So how long have you been working on these, John? Has this been something that you guys have wanted to do for quite some time, and now the opportunity has kind of presented itself, or was it one that just fell into the laps and you had to seize it when it came along?
Once we established Bolt Action as a brand, it was a must do for us.
Yeah.
It was always been in my mind to do it, and just for the good chance phone call I put in for the license, and we were granted the license for it, which was very gracious of them. As the lady said, she said the boys are going to love this. She said,
yeah.
So we have to send the models off for approval, and all of them were signed off straight away, which is good. So
excellent.
Good job done by Mr. Hicks, and it's just great fun.
Well, these last two are some of my favourite characters. Here we have...
Ooh, Hodges.
Hodges. Now, Hodges, even has special rules in this as well. You know,
Yes.
Hodges is the warden, who was a horrendously fantastic character. In the game, what can you do with him?
Well, yeah, normally he's a greengrocer normally, but once he puts his tin hat on, he becomes a real little Hitler himself, and generally goes around making Mannering's life a misery. But in game terms, he's useful to have on your platoon because of all his knowledge of the Luftwaffe and their evil doings. He's able to downgrade enemy airstrike coordinators. He basically makes it less able to bring in a Stuka strike.
Put that light out!
Exactly that. So he's quite useful man to have.
And then finally, we're doomed. Here we have Fraser. Now, what is that he's carrying?
Well, we're not entirely sure. I think it's some sort of marlin spike, some sort of nautical thing. Because he used to be he was at Jutland in the First World War, and then as in the Merchant Navy. So I think he's found something quite sharp and unpleasant.
Again, the characterful expression and the eyebrows on this particular model are just fantastic. And it's the poses, you could almost freeze frame the end credits of a Dad's Army episode.
That was part of the brief. That was the brief, yeah.
And it's just, you just instantly recognise them by the silhouettes of their stances. They are absolutely hilarious. So, John, when can we expect them to be out and about and generally available to people?
We're aiming for February the 14th.
Valentine's Day.
What could be more romantic?
So if any of you guys fancy these, get your good ladies down in front of the screen now. Get your man Dad's Army for Valentine's Day. So, John, thank you very much for taking us through them. What we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get a little game with these at some point. Show you how the special rules play out, because I'm just dying to have a game with them. Guys, thanks for watching and stay tuned. How sweet are those? I've got to admit, I absolutely loved them, and I loved the rules.
I'm just wondering if the characters will actually play as how they would play in the bloody show.
Well, the thing is, it all depends on who you're playing against, right? If you and a mate get together and you want to have a game of Dad's Army, bolt action is perfect for that. You know, it's a perfect scale. You know, you don't have. It's not like. Can you imagine playing Dad's Army at 15 mil?
No.
You know, it'd be like one base. You know, in the whole thing.
The entire squad.
So that 28 mil scale of bolt action just suits it right down to the
I'm wondering if we can actually play the. You remember the episode where they actually got the POWs? Your name shall also go on the list.
Absolutely. Get yourself a nice church.
Yep.
Okay. You get somebody to play the Germans. Make up some special rules for the Germans as well, and you just you have them all taking place. If you could get a church from Foreground, I'm going to do a shout out for Foreground. They do some stunning stuff. Foreground do a great 15 mil church. It's worth checking to see if they do a 28 mil kind of a church building.
It's the laser cut MDF, yeah.
It's beautiful, and it all comes pre-coloured.
Yeah, which is
So-
Oh yeah, I remember them. I saw it last year.
Really, really good. So if they had like a 28 mil church, I'm not sure if they do, but if they did,
They will
and the roof
soon.
come off, you could even play in the church itself.
It could be a good laugh.
Yeah,
It will be
no,
fun
but it's
playing
not.
the Vanguard.
But you know, the rules that are there are more geared towards it being a war game. It's not really a kind of a role play, so you're not going to really reenact that bit. But you could reenact the Dad's Army crew getting in the way of a
an
battle.
invasion.
You know, you have an invasion. You have some American troops. You know, with your Shermans and stuff like that. And you have Dad's Army there. So it's like,
I was sitting in the studio, and the first thing I was looking at the box and I was thinking, oh, I want the bathtub. I want the bathtub with the cut hole for the gun.
and if this release goes well for Warlord, there's absolutely no reason why they won't come back and take it further with Jonesy's van, with the bathtub, with the periscope and stuff in it. There's loads and loads that they can do.
If
The
you want to
steamroller
reenact
going
the
over the
series,
tents.
If you're wanting to reenact one of the scenarios, you just retweak it, because you could just do it as a prisoner break from the church.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
The other thing is the timing of it is perfect, because we're now about to embark on our own journey into bolt action. We've done the demo game, we have fell in love with the game completely, and now we're about to come back to it. So what I'm going to do is we're going to approach it something similar to the way you would have approached it at home. We're going to start by building up 2 in-house armies, probably US and Germans. I'm going to get some Stugs in there, and I'm also going to get my buddy Dave Shoulder, the Maestro, the Time Lord, and Dave is going to join me. Myself and Dave are getting ready now to film Flames of War for the Win, the next series, but we're also going to do some stuff on Bolt Action, because we can't resist. We love those games. I'm starting to really love the period that it's in.
It's going to be very cool. I mean, and the interest level is great. I mean,
yeah,
over 42,000 views on that demo game.
Bolt Action.
A lot of people are excited.
Bolt Action is, it is just so good. It's
just another one of those ones to watch this year.
Yes, yeah. If you were into your World War II gaming and you weren't gaming with Flames of War and Bolt Action, honestly, your life is not complete. The 2 games sit so well side by side. You know, it's you've got your Flames of War for your much bigger kind of
your cinematic overview
battlefields,
of a giant battle,
and then the Bolt Action stuff just gets you right in the thick of action. And the game styles are so different. You know, Flames of War has that game style where it is very technical, okay, and it plays out. It manages to capture a lot of the underlying tactics and dilemmas and things that you would find in a battle, looking at it from that level.
Yeah.
Bolt Action has a very different play style. Bolt Action introduces tension from turn 1.
Well, you see, to me it seemed to introduce humanity to it. You know, the fact that some units wouldn't want to be activating too early, you know, with the dice activation system.
Yes.
To me, that was just showing the ebb and flow of battle, that sometimes you'll have a hesitation on one side and a push on the other.
Well, what it does is it gives a great representation of what's called the fog of war. You know, where basically your army or your squads are not doing exactly what you want them to do. Okay, that's one of the great misnomers that we have in wargaming, in a lot of war games. Like you take 40k for example.
Yes, things happen as we want them to happen, when we want them to happen.
Exactly. You know, in 40k is basically Napoleonics. Let's be honest here. 2 armies line up either side, and they go in unit to unit, unit to unit, unit to unit. Okay, I'll look at your 40k army, and if I'm worth my salt, if I know the game well, I'll know every option you have. Yes. I'll know what options you have during the game.
You'll see my game 3 turns ahead of what I'm playing.
Yeah. Let's look at 2 other games. Let's look at Drop Zone Commander, right? Drop Zone Commander, on the other hand, is a very different type of game. It's actually a much better
simulation.
Model. Yeah, it's a much better model of modern warfare, of today's warfare, where it's all about the movement of resource and troops. The movement of your battle resources around the table. So what you'll find is that it's the ebb and the flow of battle is much, much different. Then you throw into that the likes of the command cards, and then you end up in a situation where you don't know exactly what ace your opponent can pull out of the bag.
You could play 2 exactly identical armies and still be playing 2 very different games.
Correct. Now, let's then throw in Bolt Action. What Bolt Action models beautifully, in my opinion, is the fog of war, okay? Where you might have a game plan, and your opponent might have a game plan, but neither game plan is going to go the way you expect it to go, because of the random nature of who goes when.
Yeah.
So I'm putting my hand in the bag, and I'm bringing out a dice. Oh, it's my go. I put my hand in the bag, I bring out a dice. Oh, it's my go again.
Yeah, so
I
it's
put my hand in the bag,
but not equal alternate activations.
I get my go again. I'm thinking, oh, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is absolutely brilliant.
Then you have a double-edged sword.
You weren't expecting it. You were never planning to have 3 goes in a row.
Yeah, but you have the double-edged sword to that, because you know that whenever you keep getting those orders out, you're going to have a hammer blow coming from your opponent.
Sooner or later, your opponent is going to be able to get himself together
and
do
take
a big
swing back at you.
It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And as an underlying mechanic and a model for wargaming, they don't get much better than that. They don't get much better than that. So, we're going to be looking at our bolt action. We have a bunch of unboxings and things to show you. But on top of that, like I said, we're going to be building some armies. We're going to be doing some articles and things on how you can build an army and join with us. And then myself and Dave are going to get stuck into it and play a few battles and the likes.
Okay,
I can't wait.
one question. No schnapps?
Sorry?
No schnapps this time?
No schnapps?
You remember at the tournament?
Oh.
Yeah.
If we get invited to a tournament, who knows what Dave will drink. Anyway, so stay tuned for that. But if you have any special requests for bolt action, things you'd like to see, tactics you'd like discussed, armies you would like discussed, put them in the comments below. When we come back, I'm going to be talking a little bit about Dead Zone, because this week we've put out another video about setting up for the game. We'll be right back.
With this.
So, Dead Zone. Yes, our second video went out, and over the course of this incoming week, we have some more really cool videos. Myself and James are going to be looking at each of the factions, where we're going to talk through, or James is going to talk me through, their background, what makes them tick. We'll talk a little bit about gaming in the gaps, of what kind of armies and things we would do with them.
So that's 4 really cool videos for a start.
4 cool videos over the next 2 weeks, and then we have another epic video where myself and James, completely ad hoc.
Yeah, you sit down and just go, terrain, hello!
We dump out a bunch of the new terrain from Dead Zone, and we build something. Or we just build it on camera. I
haven't even looked at the end of it yet.
No plans, nothing. We literally just built it. So that's all going to be edited up, hopefully be out for you next week. However, we have also committed to doing a battle report, a really, really cool Dead Zone battle report.
Yep, and the army lists, but not the missions, went out in this week's video.
Yes, the army list went out. We're now under more pressure than ever to get that battle report filmed, because I'm not sure how I feel about this next bit of news. My buddy James M. Hewitt has taken up a new job. He's leaving Mantic, and he's going to take residence at Games Workshop. He's becoming one of the writers in the studio. All I can say is, James, I'm absolutely delighted for you, mate. I'm over the moon for you. I know it's if you've been a backstager, look back over the designer interviews. James was actually the first designer interview I ever did, and in that, I was asking him about his ambitions, and he made it clear in that his ambition, like pretty much any writer or anybody that wants to create games, was to work in the studio at Games Workshop. Well, James, you've made it, mate. It's nice. You finally made it. Made your dream come true.
It's nice when someone can turn around and go, tech.
Yes.
Yeah. That old bucket list.
Yeah. So
it's good for him.
I've got to say that James has been. It's been an absolute pleasure working with James. To me.
He's a good sounding board. You two just banging off.
Trust me, that's
not the best way to describe it.
Giggling my head off at you two.
I don't know. I don't know
Bouncing
how I feel
off each other on camera is the words I'm looking for.
Because as happy as I am for him, and I am absolutely over the moon for him, I have a shocking knot in my stomach, because I'm going to miss him so much. Because it's the fun that I have. He's one of the finest people in the industry. I couldn't have wished a better person to go into Games Workshop than James. I think the enthusiasm,
he just wraps up fun, doesn't he?
He's just got a passion for it.
I mean, look at
quite simply.
Look at his He-Man outfit.
Where do you see this He-Man outfit? This sums this guy up for me.
This I haven't seen.
I just love it.
I'm nervous about this.
It's brilliant.
Wait till you see this, Justin.
Am I going to go comatose?
So here he is in his He-Man outfit. Yeah, it's. Sorry, James, we had to bring it up, mate. We had to bring it up.
What?
Look, it's James. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think what you'll learn in Games Workshop will do you an immeasurable amount of good, and I'm hoping that Games Workshop will learn a lot from you too, mate, because your humility, your talent, it's...
You're quite simple joy in the fact that you love the hobby.
Yeah. I've got to admit, if I wasn't so pleased for you, I think I would just go and weep, because I'm going to miss you. Who knows, though? Fingers crossed. Maybe our friends over at GW will let us do some stuff with you in the future. It's we can only hope. So that about wraps up the show, folks. We're going to wrap it up and show you a little clip of one or two of James's best bits. Now's the point of the show where I say, come and join us on Backstage. If you're not a Backstager, why not? Come on in. Backstage is where we do some extra content, and we have tutorials. We have interviews with all the key designers and key industry professionals. It's just a great place to hang out. But it also is how Beasts of War survives. Because regardless of whatever advertising and stuff like that, it's Backstage that actually is the lifeblood of Beasts of War. So if you would like to support Beasts of War and the community that we have, Backstage is by far the best way to do it. Tomorrow morning, we have the extended version of this show. We call it XLBS. We're going to be chatting about our plans for Dust, the Drop Zone Commander demo game that I ran. We're going to be talking about a little bit more about our ideas for fundraising for cameras. We're not going to do 3D. And Beasts of War events. We're looking at doing some events, small ones, big ones. And we're going to be talking about the venue. Do you guys want to come here to where Beasts of War live? Or we have another couple of venues that you might want to visit. So hop on to Backstage. We'd love to know. And then finally, in Backstage, I'm going to talk about why I will never again be afraid to stand up in public and declare I'm a wargamer.
Please, not this.
See you again soon. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Heart does go on. Once more, you open the door.